Good morning, everyone. So today we will be starting with a new chapter, that is subject-verb agreement. That is your chapter number 27, which is in your term 1 syllabus. This chapter is in your term 1 syllabus. So we will be doing according to your term 1 syllabus. So everyone open page number 111, page number 111. Okay? So now, what is this subject-verb agreement? So subject we know, as I am telling, and everyone just turn off your video camera. Turn off your video camera, because if you turn on your video camera, then my screen will come in short. Okay? So others won't be able to see me. So everyone just turn off your video camera. Okay. So at first, let me explain what is this subject-verb agreement. So Ravi is a good boy. Here, which is the subject? You have learned how to differentiate between subject and predicate. So here, which is the subject? Ravi. So Ravi is the subject. Okay. Next, the remaining part is the predicate. Now in the predicate we are getting the verb. Which is the verb here? Is the verb. So we are getting the subject, we are getting the verb. Now what is this subject-verb agreement? The subject and the verb, they need to agree with one another. You see, the subject Ravi, it is singular. Okay, it is, I'm talking about one person whose name is Ravi. So this one is singular. Singular subject. So when I'm using a singular subject, the verb that I will use, the verb will be also in the singular form. So is also a singular form. If I'm using the sentence like this, if I'm telling the birds, if I'm telling the birds, now the birds, this is what? This is not singular, this is subject plural. This is subject plural. Okay. Now for this plural subject, the birds, I have to use a plural verb. That is, the birds were singing. So I'm using this were. Were is what? Plural verb. So my verb is agreeing with the subject. If this is also plural, this subject will also plural. If the subject is singular, the verb is also going to be singular. Means they need to work together. It's not like the subject is plural and the verb is singular. It should not be like that. So this is what we mean by this subject-verb agreement. Now I will be going according to the rules. There are different rules for this, and there are some exceptions as well. Okay, so first thing that I will tell you, that is plural verbs singular verbs. So you need to have a clear idea of what are the plural verbs and what are the singular verbs, because subject we already know, subject which subject are singular, which are plural, that is very obvious and easy. But regarding the verb, there is a little bit thing that you need to remember all the time. Okay. So for example, regarding plural verb, I am using are. So the singular form of are is or am. Correct? If the plural is were, the singular is was. If the plural is have or had, the singular will be has or had. So this had is common. The had is the past participle. Therefore, let's not mention about the had. I'm just using the had for your reference so that you don't get the query. Okay, so had I'm using as plural as well as singular. So I'm not writing it now here. You just have to remember which one is the singular and which one is the plural. So just remember, has is the singular and have is the plural. Next. Okay. Now coming to the main verbs. Play. If I am writing that they play football I am telling. But if I am talking about he plays football. So somewhere I am using play, whereas somewhere I am using plays. So that is because of this subject verb agreement. Play is a plural, whereas plays, plays, this is singular. So normally in noun, in the case of noun, if we add s or es with the noun, then the noun becomes plural. But in the case of a verb, the opposite thing happens. If we remove the s or es, then the verb will become plural. If we add s, then it will become singular. Just the opposite. The rule will be completely like opposite. So this thing you have to remember. The verb with s or es is actually a singular verb. The verb without s or es will be a plural verb. Okay, is this concept clear to you? You have to remember it all the time. Don't get any kind of confusion regarding this singular and plural. Don't ever call this one as singular, ma'am, that this is singular, it is not having any s. Don't ask this kind of question. I am telling you, if there is no s, then that will be considered to be a plural verb. If it is having s, at that time it will be considered as a singular verb. Okay? Okay. So I'm rubbing this part. So see, you follow your book, what is written here. A verb must agree with its subject. The verb is agreeing with the subject. A singular noun takes a singular verb with it. A plural noun takes a plural verb with it. So this one also I have explained. A singular verb will always go with the singular noun, and the singular noun will always go with the singular verb. In the same way as I'm talking about the noun, I have to talk about the pronoun too. So singular pronoun takes a singular verb, and a plural pronoun takes a plural verb. So pronoun and noun, they are actually what? They are actually the subjects or the objects. Okay. With the pronoun you, we always use the plural verb. So regarding the word you, so as I told you, there are some exceptions that you need to remember. So exception number 1, that is you. So while you were learning the pronouns, you have realized that you, y-o-u, you is both singular as well as Plural. You do your homework. I can tell it to one single person as you. If I'm telling you all are not giving attention, so actually I'm telling to all of you. So you can be singular as well as plural. So what kind of verb will be used for you? Whenever there is a you, we have to use always the plural verbs. Okay. With you, we will always use the plural verbs. Example, you are smart. If you were present. Next, you have won. Next, you play well. So see, with you I have used always the plural verb. Are is plural, were is plural, have is plural, play is plural. Okay? So this is one exception, whether the you is talking about one single person or whether the you is talking about many person. For you always we are going to use the plural verb. So this is one exception. Okay, if you want to write it down, you can write down. Alright. So next you see, in number B, let us take some example to see how the verb changes its form to agree with the subject when the subject is a noun. So there you see, first number A, singular. Singular is my shirt. So for my shirt, the verb used is also singular. That is, my shirt is dirty. My shirt is dirty. So my shirt is singular. So the is also singular. If my shirts, shirts, plural. If I'm using a plural subject, if I'm using a plural noun here, my shirts, at that time I'm not going to use is. I will be using are or were. So here it is, my shirts are dirty. Next you see singular, the child. The child is singular. The child was clever. Was, again a singular. But in the second sentence, the children. Now the children, this is plural. So when I'm talking about the children, I'm using were, W-E-R-E. The children were clever. Number C, this flower has a nice smell. As I said, has. So this flower has a nice smell. Flower is singular and has is also singular verb. But in the next sentence you see, these flowers, F-L-O-W-E-R-S, plural. Okay, the noun is in plural sense. So there I'm not using has, I'm using have. These flowers have a nice smell. Next, this baby cries a lot. This baby, I'm talking about a single baby, one baby, this baby. Okay, so when I'm talking about one baby and I'm talking about his crying activity, I'm using C-R-I-E-S, the singular form of the verb, C-R-I-E-S, cries a lot. But when the same thing I'm using as plural, these babies, When I'm telling these babies, T-H-E-A-C, these babies, B-A-B-I-E-S, at that time I'm not using C-R-I-E-S. What I'm using? I'm just simply using cry a lot. Okay? So reading this example only, you will get the clear idea what is the singular verb and what is the plural verb. Is this part clear to you? And you people don't talk with yourself right now. I know your complaining habit. You don't complain right now in the chat box. You please attend the class and pay attention to the class. Because whatever I am telling, you will miss to hear, and later on you will be asking me. Okay. So come to next part, that is, let us now take some examples to see how the verb changes its form when the subject is a pronoun. So in the part B, we have learned the noun part. Now we are going to see the pronoun part. See, a singular pronoun I. I is a singular pronoun. So with I, if it is a present tense, I am using am. Not is. With I, always we are using in the present tense am. If it is in the past tense, we will use was. Okay. But the plural of I is we. So when we are using we are using are or were. That is the plural verb. Next, for you, I have said already, for you, whether it is singular or plural, you will always be using the plural verb. So you are, or you were. Next, he, she, it. He or she or it. Okay, if that is singular, then I am using is or was. If I am using the plural of he, she, it, I will be telling they. They is the plural form of he or she or it. So when I am talking about they means plural. I will always be using a plural verb. That is, they are or they were. Now I can see some of you are actually busy in chatting with each other and replying to each other's chat, which is not at all relevant to my class right now. And you're actually not paying any attention to the class that I'm taking. You're busy in typing whatever you feel like. Now, whoever is doing this kind of chat, I'm going to note down the names. Devaprayi is there, as always. And Yasir. Yeah, now you're deleting the chat so that I can't see you anymore. In the classroom, you will be talking, and in the chat box, you will be chatting. The habits won't get changed ever. You can't see me. You can't see me properly. Just check your internet connection once. Okay, and the last part that I want to explain right now, that is when you are joining two singular nouns or pronouns, when you are joining two singular nouns and pronouns using and, at that time the verb that you are going to use, that will be plural. Means if I am telling Ravi and Rima, okay, if I am telling Ravi and Rima, Ravi is one person, Rima is another person. So Ravi and Rima together becomes two person. So in that case, the verb that I will be using, that will be plural all the time. Okay? Yes, what is your question? How can play can be plural? Yes, play will be plural. As I explained you before, in the case of a verb, when you are adding s, the verb is becoming singular. If you are not adding s, the verb will remain plural. It is just the opposite of noun. Okay, verb works in a different way. Any other question? Okay, I have answered the question. This is the rule. Okay, this is the rule in English grammar. For verb, if you are adding the s, the verb becomes the singular. If there is no s or es, then the verb remains plural. That you have to remember all the time. Okay. As the next point number 2 is, I'm talking from that portion of D. So in the D portion, you see point number 2, if we use a collective noun, okay, like a team, a class, an army, which is actually talking about a lot of number of people, but it is all in collective form. Collective noun means what? Making it into one single unit. So I'm telling a class of students. So when I'm telling a class of students, here I'm not talking about the students. Here I'm talking about a class, means I'm talking about a singular thing. I'm talking about a single unit. Remember, I'm talking about a single unit, and that single unit have many plural things inside. That is a separate thing, but I'm talking about a single unit. So when I'm talking about a collective noun, I will always use it in singular verb. So if I'm talking about an army, okay, an army was marching forward, okay, or the army is marching forward, it will be is instead of are. In case of collective noun, you already know what is a collective noun. So that is rule number 2. Rule number 3, sometimes the title of a book looks like a plural noun, but it is the title of one book, so it's actually singular and takes the singular verb. For example, there is a book. The name of the book is Gulliver's Travels, Travels. Okay, the name of the book is in plural form, but actually it is the name of one particular book. Okay, I must not go be carried away with the name. The name is actually referring to one book. So in that case, when there is the book of a name, the book of a movie, or the name of a movie, or the name of anything, okay, any singular thing, then we will always go with the singular noun, a singular verb. All right. So that's all for the class today, and we will be starting with the exercise portion in our next class.